So have you ever wondered what your newborn's poop should look like? Like what color it should be, or what the consistency should look like, or how often they should go? Well, that's what I'm going to cover today. I'm Dr. Obidi of the Newborn Prep Academy, and today we're going to talk all about your newborn's poop. So one, it's color. What color is normal for a newborn poop? Well, usually right after birth, the first few days, it will be greenish, which is called meconium. And that usually will transition into a sort of mustard yellow color as they start to digest their milk, whether that's breast milk or formula. As that makes its way through the GI tract, through the intestinal tract, it comes out on the other end, eventually looking like a kind of mustardy color. Now, I will say, as a newborn progresses and gets older and starts to, drink more milk formula, maybe you start to introduce other foods, that color can sometimes, just have different colors. But really, there are only three colors that should be concerning if you see those colors in your newborn's poop. One is if you see bright red, right? Such as, of course, that would make you concerned about bleeding. The other will be if you see jet black, right? So if it looks like tar, that's also concerning for bleeding that has happened further up in the gastrointestinal tract, like the stomach, for instance, because when acid goes to work on the blood, it comes out the other end looking very tarry and very dark or black. The other color will be something very pale, almost like a white color, and that will be concerning for some problem digesting fats. So outside of those three colors, bright red, black, or some sort of very pale color, all other colors really are fair game, because it might just depend on what your baby has eaten, or if they took some medication or the other that has turned their poop a different color. All of that can affect sometimes your baby's poop. So that's all about your baby's color, okay? Most of the time it's going to be sort of mustard yellow, for the most part, especially for our newborns. Now, what should it look like in terms of consistency? I kind of like to describe three kinds of newborn poops that are very common. One will be one that looks like a very watery, oatmeal, right? So if you think of oatmeal, that's very watery, so it's loose, very chunky bits in it. I know this is quite descriptive, but I think it helps for you to sort of visualize what's normal for your newborn when it comes to consistency. So number one is going to be some sort of watery oatmeal sort of preparation, right? The other is going to be sort of a watery or even slightly thicker pea soup consistency. So it's very fine, almost like pureed, but again, oftentimes runny and can take the shape of any container you pour that into. Now, the third will be like a soft toothpaste consistency. So it kind of comes out more formed somewhat. Again, can form like a toothpaste, line, but is really soft where you can easily sort of, just mush it, right? All those will be normal, or can be normal when it comes to the consistency of your newborn's poop. A lot of times it will depend on what you're feeding them. If they're being breastfed, oftentimes it's more on the watery side. If they're being formula fed, it might be more on the sort of toothpastey side. But again, that will be the majority of newborn poops will have one of those three consistencies. Now, the third thing people often ask is, how often should my newborn poop? Well, that's really going to depend on how old they are and again, what you're feeding them. So very earlier on, I kind of like to talk about the rules of 7 or the rules of 1 in the first 6 weeks. And that really means that for every day your child is how old they are in days, the first week of life is how many peas or poops you expect them to have in a 24-hour period. So what I mean is, if your baby is 2 days old, you kind of expect at least 2 wet diapers and 2 poopy diapers in a 24-hour period. And that goes all the way up to, like, if they're a week old, at least 7 of each. 7 wet diapers, 7 poopy diapers in a 24-hour period. Now, when they get past 7 days, a week, it kind of breaks down that simple equation, because they could poop like almost every time they feed, or sometimes they could just poop once a day or every other day, or even skip, several days. All that can be normal. Now, if you're ever worried that your newborn might have constipation and you're not quite sure, you want to seek some guidance from your pediatrician or medical provider just to make sure all things are normal. But it can be normal for kids to skip days as long as the poop comes out still looking soft and mushy and not hard round balls. Well, there you get it. There you go. I have covered what your newborn's poop will look like, what the colors you expect, what consistency, and how often they will poop. I hope that was helpful. If you found this helpful, I really want to encourage you to download my free guide for new moms and new dads and really any expectant mom. It's called the Confident New Mom Guide, and you can get that as a link wherever you're watching this video, or if it's on social media in my bio or bio profile, you'll see the link up there. It's a fantastic resource. I cover all the basic things that a new mom should know